Here it is then, the Black Beauty, the brand new facelifted version of the Turbo S. Now as standard on the Turbo S, you get the ceramic brakes, you also get the centre lock wheels as well. Imran from Porsche East London very kindly given us the key, so let's go and take it for a drive. So it's definitely much more fun driving this thing than it is walking around the outside. So we're in the £156,000 Porsche. Already you can tell this thing is pretty brutal. It does that by a 3.8 litre twin turbocharged engine, which is quite the monster on the road. It's very usable though, and the best thing about this is you do have 4 driving modes right here on the steering wheel. You've got normal, you've got sport, you've got sport plus, which drops all the gearing and turns the traction control pretty much off, and then you've got individual, which you can set to whatever you want. And when you want it to get going, it seriously gets going. It'll do over 200 miles an hour, which is more than adequate for most people's daily usage. And 0 to 60 comes in under 3 seconds, so this thing is seriously quick. It's safe to say the looks of this 911 Turbo S are undated. You can go back quite a few generations of this car and see that they all look quite similar, yet they still look quite new. And I love the way Porsche managed to get away with that. Every single 911 that comes out still looks new, but it still has that classic Porsche 911 look about it. So being that it is a twin turbo car, you will get a little bit of turbo lag. When you're really pushing on though in the higher RPMs, anything above about 3,000, you're not really going to notice it at all. What it does do though is give you that fantastic whoosh noise that you do get from turbocharged cars, and you still get that little bit of a dump sound when you come off the accelerator. And you may have noticed behind me there's that massive great wing that will keep you on track as much as it can and as much as you don't turn the traction control off, which I would say is a very bad idea, especially on a day like today. But I would love to get this thing on a track day, because it's one of those cars that you can just drive to a track, absolutely spank it all day long. It will take it, the carbon ceramic brakes will not fade, and then you can just drive it back again. So we're on quite a bumpy bit of road at the moment. I've got the suspension set in normal setting. You can, however, push the little PDCC button down here, which will stiffen things up. On the UK roads though, unless you're on a racetrack, I'd probably just leave it in normal mode. Typically, as the English weather gets a little bit better, we've got to hand the car back. Thank you so much again to Imran at Porsche East London for letting us borrow this Turbo S. I think this is what this car is all about actually, kind of the great British weather. Slightly wet, slightly stiffy, but this thing, even with 580 horsepower, it's quite a dream to drive on pretty much any road.